Is it working? Just checking. Yeah, it's working. Hello. I thought I'd restart this series where I live design things, and the reason I wanted to start again is because I had this idea to build an open. I basically have a bunch of things that I want to do. One of them being I'd quite like to create an open source module that's just free for people to make and experiment with and build. The idea is, well, and I thought it'd be a great idea to just sort of make a sort of follow along streaming series. I've been waiting. Basically, the idea started about 6 months ago. I can't remember when this is released. When these chips were released, the RP2350, finally these Raspberry Pi chips have some DSP capabilities, and I thought it'd be a great idea just to make a general purpose module that takes advantage of these ideas. I did quite a lot of work, don't know why, just laying it out. At the time when these modules came out, there was only this PGA 2350 available by Pimoroni, which used the chip, which used the full pinout of the chip. If I've forgotten to open this. This is the chip. Wait, I'll go to the big scene. This is the chip. It's a massive step up for these processors, and I think they're great because they generally have, you can do quite complicated C programming on them if you want to, but they also support MicroPython and CircuitPython, which have some degree of audio processing. Not really, but like you can do things like playing sounds, triggering sounds. And if you go on this website, you can see the different models. And so, unlike the previous version, which is the RP2040, the RP2350 has a number of pins. Different pins has different packages with different levels of pins, and finally they have a chip. If you see the RP2350B has 48 GPIO, which is a decent sized processor. And do you get information about its capabilities? That might be quite a good place to start. They pre-released a load of projects with people, but I wasn't on that. But, if you... Where is hardware? Pico 2. So the Pico 2 contains the new RP2350 chip. And the spec. I want to find the spec. Probably should have pulled this up. Here it is. It's got a dual ARM Cortex M33, which has some floating point. I operators in it, and it goes quite fast, so it's much more capable of doing sound processing. The other interesting thing about it is, well, not a lot apart from that. It's just got more. It's got the same amount of ADCs, but it's got more PO state machines, which could be useful or not. The more interesting thing is it can take a lot of memory. If we switch to the this page, you can see this chip. This is the 2350B, and it supports 16 megabytes of flash on board, so you can store quite large bits of data. I really am being boring here, but anyway, I started this design, but I never really quite got anywhere with it because because I couldn't get hold of the chip, the RP2350, so I was sort of designing it around this Pimoroni chip, which is fine, but I never quite got it out of prototype. And then the other out of layout, and then the other day, JLC now lets you build boards with the RP2350. So yeah, I'm mumbling. So my plan is, in this next few series of videos, is to design, well, to take this design on the right here, and include the raw chip in it, following the design guide, which should be here. It always goes to General Raspberry Pi. You have to go find the Pico section. Microcontrollers. The Pico 2 is the new chip that only got released last year. It has... Where's the files? Ooh, Silicon 2350. Security, baseboards. Documentation. 2250. We'll be following this hardware design guide. Let's bring it up again. This hardware design guide. This document here, we'll be following this document along with and implementing it into this design. They're already sort of mapped out. The idea is going to be that it can be completely assembled at JLC PCB with no soldering at all, so people can have a go at building the designs from scratch. Well, I'll include in the open source files, I'll include everything, including all the design files and the production files, so you can order your own assembly of this device. It's not going to be restricted to just being supplied by me. This is just a test. But the first, I'm going to come up with stages. I started laying out this design. I don't know if you can see that. I have all these 0 ohm resistors which go around here, this chip, because I wasn't quite sure which pins I wanted to use, and it just let me, when I did the prototyping stage, it let me added a flexibility so I could change the connections. But now I'm going to get rid of this chip with the PGA 2350, which is this thing here. and I'm going to replace it just with the plain chip. And recently Adafruit has just released this, the Metro RP2350, and it features many things that I might want to include on the module. By the way, I've completely screwed up the introduction here. It's going to be a Eurorack module that is completely DIY and completely open source, and you can just make it and order it yourself. You can handle assemble it if you like, or you can just get it assembled for you, usually in lots of 5. But the Metro RP2350, I'm going to buy one of these. Includes a lot of things that I wanted to include with the with the module that I was going to design. I'll show you here. Great thing about Adafruit is all their stuff is shown, is just the schematics and everything available. And there's an RP2350. Like the PGA 2350, there is this is the flash memory, 16 megabytes flash memory, I think. If you go back, yeah, 16 megabytes of QSPI flash, which is what we would like to have in this module. The module was relying on the current design was relying on the PGA 2350, which included the 16 megabytes of QSPI flash. But this shows me how to wire it up, and I think I'd like to copy this layout as much as possible, so it's compatible code-wise with many Adafruit libraries. This is the memory. What's it called? The other flash memory that contains the programs. There's quite a cool, decent power supply, which we could use, but we might not be able to use it because it's, what is it, a TPS 54302. No, it'll work for us. It's a 4.5 to 28 volt input buck converter. So we can feed 12 volts into there, and we should be able to get 5 volts out. Might have to look on the data sheet what the inductor should be. I don't know if it need to be different. And then we'll need a 5 volt power supply, which will be the same, just a linear power supply. Yeah, and I want to put in an SD card, and the interesting thing is it supports, the RP2350 supports SDIO, I think maybe through the PO peripherals, but you see here it's not available in Arduino. Oh, that's another point. This chip also supports Arduino, so it's great. It supports Arduino, CircuitPython, and MicroPython. And then if you want to, you can just go straight to C++ for more sophisticated things, like this, like SDIO, which is a very fast serial available for SD cards. It's the only like hobby microcontroller I know that uses it is the Teensy. So it should be fairly comparable with the Teensy, although it would need to be written for Arduino to be comparable. I wonder if the SD library could be altered. Not that I'm good enough to write those kind of programs. Oh, and it has, if you see here, it has this HSTX connector. which is the new peripheral to drive screens. In theory it can drive HDMI displays, but I think it could also be used to drive SPI displays really fast, which I think would be a really neat feature, to have a very high refresh rate SPI display. And speaking of which, there's a SPI display let me just find it. I've completely forgot about this. I have to log into AliExpress, so forgive me whilst I do it off the screen. I think I chose something, a watch display. Here we go. Loading up. This display, I like it because it has round corners and it's fairly high resolution. It's 240 by 480. It uses this driver, which I'm not particularly familiar with. I'll zoom in a bit. It's this driver, and they usually come with this backboard, or you can buy it with a thing. I've got a few of them. So actually what I should show you is I have also started going to open Inkscape. Go back to this display. I have come up with the preliminary idea of what it might look like. The idea is it's a programmable, a general purpose programmable module, a bit like Ornament and Crime, or what's the other one? I don't know. It's got two encoders. This is micro SD card in the middle. It's not host. That's this USB-C input. That's how you program it. You program it through the front though, and there's a reset button. There's a host, so you can put host devices in. And the idea is it might have audio inputs, audio outputs. So that's DAC, proper audio DACs, and then 4 CV inputs and 4 CV outputs, and then 2 general gates and inputs and outputs. I toyed with an idea of a different connector, and these are 2 little buttons. I quite like tiny little buttons. I'll go into it in more detail next time. This was just a general introduction. The idea is, in the next episode, I'm going to be kind of boring, continue boring Ben. I'm just going to open up a Word document and going to go through the requirements. Probably tomorrow. Anyway, that was my introduction. Thanks.